guys, how's it going? It's been an interesting few days. Look at this. We've got a lake in the Dirtlands and in several other locations. We have had 3 solid days of rain. It is starting to ease up. You can see the little splatters on top of the water, but it just poured all day yesterday from the moment we woke up and all through the night. I mean, I could hear it on the roof. It was so loud, and it rained the prior day too, and then it's supposed to rain until I think sometime this afternoon. Makes for an interesting landscape out here. We can't do any, well, I mean, we could. One could plant in anything, but it is a slick, muddy mess. I don't really want to be messing with that. So we're going to do some other things. But you know, we live in Eastern Oregon high desert, so we get a lot of rain usually in the spring and in the fall, but not usually for days at a time. Usually it comes through, it lasts an hour, and then it's done for a while, and then, you know, it's a few days later we get a little bit more. But this has been interesting to have it for days and days. But let me tell you what, the rain makes everything look happy, healthy, lush. It just gives everything a break. Not that we've, you know, been through much heat or anything yet, but look at how beautiful everything looks. I mean, all the moisture makes all the mulch look like fresh. All the flowers look super happy. Now, Paul and Aaron just re-ran drip in this area, so we've still yet to bury that and cover it. But oh my word, the pond is full, full, full. This is our indicator rock right here, and I can see right there, it's barely popping out, and usually it's sticking out about this far, and that usually indicates a full pond. So it's extra full at the moment. They're like, hello, are you gonna feed me? Give you a little bit of food. So here's the plan for today. We're gonna do some inside things. We're gonna go to the greenhouse first. I may not need this anymore, just kind of sprinkling at the moment. But we're gonna start in the greenhouse. We're gonna repot some Alstroemeria that came in with our new perennial load, and I got 2 different varieties, 3 of each. We're gonna run an experiment where I pot 2 up of each variety. One's gonna stay in the plastic greenhouse, the other one's gonna go in the Hartley, and then I'll save the last ones to plant out in the landscape once it's not so muddy. And I just want to test to see how they do, because Alstroemeria are rated down to our zone. They're a zone 6. I don't know if they're going to like our harsh summers or our soil pH. That's the only test. So I figured we could try that out. We're also going to be gathering some eggs from the chicken coop, and we're going to make some homemade egg noodles today for chicken soup. I made a roasted chicken yesterday for dinner, and then when we were done, you know, I picked it clean, and so I've got nice chicken to put into a chicken noodle soup, and it's that kind of day. I usually buy egg noodles, but I don't have any in the freezer, and this week my goal is to not make a meal plan with new recipes or like things that I'm going to need to go buy, but just to use things that I currently have in my freezer and pantry, just to kind of I don't know, reacquaint myself with what's in the freezer. I don't know if you guys are like me, but I hate those drawer freezers. You get stuff and then put it in there, and then eventually things get buried and you can't see what you have. So my goal is to go through and actually use some of that stuff so we're not throwing it out. So we're gonna make some egg noodles for that soup. And Aaron and I are going to sit down and talk through the home renovation. We're gonna show you all of the renders for the outside of the house and all the changes we're gonna be making, and talk through some of those things, even though we're a little ways out, of course, on anything that's going to change the outside of the house. That'll start next late winter, early spring, but it'll kind of give you an idea of what we're working toward, at least. Yeah, just looking so beautiful. And let's take a look at our new flower bed over here real quick. Also, chichalpas, you guys. Chichalpas are one of my favorite shrubs in the summer and fall, but they are one of my least favorite in the spring. It takes them forever to break dormancy. They look completely dead while everything else is, you know, starting to come alive and put on growth, and we have to wait. But I can see, this is the first time I've noticed it, I can see all the new growth. Usually we have to cut them back to about here, so that tracks. But that's exciting. This one's got growth a little higher up. Oh yeah, everything's looking good over here. Oh, all of our new stuff. Look at all the water that's kind of pooling at the base. We've got our new shrubs going on in there. Oh, this is just such a rare sight for us to see everything wet all at one time. I just kind of want to revel in it for a bit. Also, one more thing, we should have saved our early April garden tour till now, but we're planning on doing one maybe in the next, I don't know, 10 to 14 days or so, because things change so fast this time of year. Like, look at the parterre. Look at the Zephyr blend of tulips. When we showed it in the tour, I think there was maybe 1 pink tulip that was out. and it was just white tulips. Now look at it. I was a little bit like, well, you know, I love white tulips, so it's fine. But I was a little underwhelmed by the whole mix idea. But now that the pink has come up, I'm just loving it. It looks so fresh and bright. And the whole goal of this mix is to have early white, have the pink come up, overlap the bloom season of the white, and then carry forward once the white is done. So you get a longer bloom season out of them. But that's what we've got in all 4 of the sections back here. And I love it. Early carnival saxifrage looking awesome. Our benches are thoroughly soaked. And our blushing lady tulips. Oh, and it's early and it's chilly, so they're closed up right now, but they open up super huge. And I just think they're one of the most beautiful things. I think I called them blushing bride the last time I showed you. Blushing lady. I don't know what blushing bride. I don't know where I came up with that. And our sparkling Sprite crab apples are about ready to burst into bloom. There are a few blooms going on, but most of them are in bud form. You can see in bud form, they're bright, bright pink. And as they open, they kind of turn into this kind of light pink. Okay, let's head to the greenhouse, check out our plants. And I can't remember what size of containers. I think they're in like 1.5, 2 gallon size containers, and we'll need to go gather up some pots. I kind of want to see if we can find 4 either of the same pots or very similar pots, so it's a little bit more of a controlled experiment. Oh, there's a stray cat in here. Oh, that is the first time I've ever seen a cat that is not one of ours in here. I don't mind as long as they're not male and spraying on stuff. Then I mind. Okay, here are the Alstroemeria. And you can see a few of these, this one's called Summer Break, are about ready to bloom. So the Summer Break is the pink one. In the landscape, they grow about 3 by 3, and it says they're zone 6 through 9. Full to part sun. And in terms of soil, it doesn't say whether or not they prefer a more acidic soil or more neutral, but it does say that they want well-drained soil with moderate to consistent moisture, later to emerge in spring than most other perennials, but grows quickly to make up for its late start, kind of like Lysianthus or Chitalpas, something like that. So at least we'll know what to expect next year out of the ones that end up going in the ground. And then the other variety we have is Summer Breeze, and I absolutely love the leaf variegation. But these are more of a sunset sort of situation in terms of color, apricot, yellow. There's a little bit of gray and kind of creamy white in them. I love it. Same stats on this one. Okay, we don't need an overly large container, I don't think, but we want to give it some space to grow. Thinking something like along those lines right there. So let's go track something down. And I'm going to use regular organic potting mix. I don't think I'm going to add any, maybe some biotone in there, but no additional additives today. Huh, not too soggy. Hey girls, hi chickens. Just gonna check behind the red barn. I think everything back here is a little bit too big. And let's check in here. We need like 4 of that size right there. Those are really pretty, and I've got enough of them. But that might be a little bit of an overreaction on size. Is it? So it said that once they break dormancy and start to grow, they grow really quickly. So maybe we'll get 1 longer out of them if they're in a larger pot. I'm trying to think of the Hartley though. The Hartley, I don't have a tremendous amount of space just to pop huge pots in there. I'm gonna run and check in the white barn and see if there's anything in there that's similar to what we've got out here. I might have to cobble something together. It doesn't really matter all that much as long as they're similar in size because they're gonna all be separated. Okay, we are down at the garden center and I'm thinking there's 4 terracotta pots in this stack. What size are these? It says 37 centimeters. So that might be a great option right there. I love the rolled rim better, like in terms of style, but there's only 2 of each size right there. And I feel like it's a little bit more fair for the experiment if we have them all on the same size. The other option are these tall gray ones. There's 2 of those, but there's also 2 regular color terracotta down here as well. That'd be kind of fun. Maybe we'll go that route. Oh, I like this pot. This is way too small, but I just like this one in general. It's pretty. This one just says flower pot extra large. The thing I like about this is that these right here are about this high, and this would give us a few more inches. So I think water retention and all of that will be better in this. Okay, now we just gotta haul them out to the truck. Perfect. Thank you. Move it, Russell. Move it. Move it. Oh, it's warm in here. Got our containers. Got the garden cart. I'm going to go ahead and pop the 2 pots that are going to go to the Hartley up onto this cart before we fill them with soil and such so that we can wheel them to the Hartley easily. We need to minimize lifting. Okay, I'm going to need more soil than that. So, probably 6 or 7 more bags. I think we are finally ready to start this project. Took us long enough. Okay, so I think we've got what we need. I set 2 of the Alstroemeria aside, and those are the 2 we're going to plant out. I've got the 2 terracotta pots right in here with the 2 plants we're going to put in those. And then the gray ones, I thought those would look really nice in the Hartley. So putting them on a little cart will make it a lot easier to take them over. I'd put them on the back of the gator, but I can't get the gator right up to the door. And this we could pull right in through the door, right into the Hartley. Then we've got our potting mix. This is what we're going to be using. And some of our Biotone starter fertilizer. Now I did do a quick Google search, and it does say that Alstroemeria like it slightly on the acidic side, which the ones that we're planting out in the landscape, those it'll be interesting to see what happens. But with these today, I'm going to be just using the soil and Biotone like I showed you because the soil is pretty neutral. And then when I go in to fertilize and or amend the soil, I'll add some land and seed compost and probably some soil acidifier at that time. I don't have any soil acidifier on hand today. I could add that in today, but I don't think it's really going to make a tremendous amount of difference until a little bit later on once these plants are actually needing some more nutrients. We're going to be giving them fresh soil and fresh nutrients to start with anyway. And I am just so excited about this because these are just the best cut flowers ever. Now, I don't know about these, you guys, in terms of keeping them in a heated space during the winter because it does say, I'm in zone 6 through 9, so they're going to need some amount of cold weeks in order to perform typically. And it says they're later to emerge in spring, so I'm guessing they're one that we cut all the way back and then let them flush back. So it's possible we might need to move these into the high tunnels where, the ones in pots, where they're protected for the winter, but they're allowed that cold period, that dormancy period, instead of staying in here and trying to struggle through. I'm just not sure. So if any of you have grown Alstroemeria specifically in pots, please let me know how you have found good luck doing that. We got Douglas over here, loving on the bag of soil. Douglas, composure. Oh my goodness. Okay, we're gonna start off by filling these up with soil. Okay, now we're gonna incorporate a little bit of, oh my goodness, a little bit of Biotone. I'm gonna put half of this in the other pot. Got a little bit heavy-handed there. I'll just mix that in. It doesn't need to be down super low. We want it around the root system of the plant. Okay, we're gonna go in with our summer break first. Whoa, look at that root system. Gonna just release the roots just a little bit. I'm trying to be gentle. There we go. It's a little bit better. I'll pop it in. And we're gonna add extra soil in around the roots. Okay, container number 2. I added my extra soil first this time around instead of trying to add it in around the root ball afterward. Usually makes it a little smoother of a process. Oh, you guys, I can already see how it's wanting to spread. See that? See that little new growth right there? I'm not going to water these in until we get them into the Hartley so that they're not quite as heavy, but I am going to try to brush off extra soil here. Oh, look at how good those look. They'll look a lot better when I don't have piles of stuff behind them. So what I like to do with the tags is I'm going to cut this top part off. All I really need to know is the variety name. What in the world? Where is that? Oh my, there it is. Oh, it sounded extra loud. Pretty low. Anyway, you can see if you cut off this top part, it's really easy to slide the tag down and sort of hide it, because I don't really want to see that sticking out. And then that can just slide right down. And then you can see a little hint of the white tag, but you don't necessarily see it right off the bat. And these are awesome tags because they're all like coated. I don't know, they last for a long time. Okay, so those two are done. So we're just gonna do the same thing with these 2 pots. And I do think I'm gonna leave them right in here because our fig and our eugenias have done so well in this corner, and so did our olive until it outgrew its space. I mean, you might remember that. That tree was all tucked into the corner, and now it is just loaded with buds. Look at this. We're gonna have olives coming out of our ears if they all hold. Same with avocados, you guys. Look at our avocado tree. It's just 100% loaded. I love it. I got one avocado last year and it was about this big. And it was kind of black on the inside by the time I picked it. All the rest of them that set dropped. And I've read and have had people tell me that sometimes it takes a while for the tree to stop dropping. Like they need to be a certain amount of years old before they start holding on to their fruit. I don't know. I don't really know a lot about avocados because we can't grow them outside here. But I'm really excited about it. And there's a bunch of new growth. Like, look at these fresh leaves. Look at those. Ah, this is a pretty happy corner. You can see our bamboo has sprung back to life, pushing a ton of new growth. Our, what are these called? Delta Silver River. These are a new one out from Proven Winners, and you're supposed to treat them more like a succulent, and they're technically an annual, but you can winter them over. Now, the interior of the plant does not look awesome. So I think that one maybe looks a little bit better. And I'm wondering, I mean, I did not water overhead. A lot of times that is what will happen if you water right in the center of a plant. You'll get kind of like this hole and a real crummy looking spot. But I tuck my hose wand into the side, like right to the soil, and I don't let water touch the leaves. So I don't know if this is just a situation where I need to cut it back and let it reflush, but I just saw all these buds forming up and I wanted to let it bloom. I mean, look at how happy that is. And then I just recently showed you our amaryllis. This was our like sick bay area, and now we've got 5 amaryllis pushing buds. This one's gonna bloom here soon. That's really exciting. And like random stuff from last year, you know, that was tucked into a winter container. There's a Dusty Miller that we used in containers last year. The random geraniums. Our calla lily's doing awesome. Mangave's wanting to bloom. My goodness. Anyway, all that said, I'm hopeful for these Alstroemeria. I'm hopeful that they like it in here because in here they will get a lot more humidity than they will get, the other 2 will get in the Hartley. So we'll get to see how they react to the different growing situations. I think it's going to be a fun experiment. Okay, let's get these potted up. Gonna have to steal them out from under Douglas. Douglas, what are you doing, dude? You're kind of weird with the soil bags. Where did Russell go? Oh, hey Russell. Hi, kitty. All right, those are done. Washed off the pots, watered them in, and then those are the two that will hang out until it's dry enough to get out here and do some planting, and we'll find a good spot for them. And I'm thinking of putting them or trying to put them in a spot that gets a little bit of protection from our really hot afternoon sun. I think just based on what this plant looks like, I feel like that's a good move. I don't know, but somewhere where they can get a good block of morning sun, but then protection in the afternoon, and maybe a little bit of protection from wind as well. Starting to sprinkle again. And then here are the plants that are going to the Hartley. So I put my little kneeling pad between them so they don't knock together, and I've got a couple of saucers. So let's get them put over there and then we can water them in. Okay, that's where they're gonna live. Russell, you're not supposed to be in here. Come on, dude. Come on. Out you get. I know, and you know. Anyway, I think they're gonna do well in here. I'm hopeful anyway. I might move this container to this spot right here. We will be moving this pot out once it gets consistently warm enough. It's an annual container we had outside last year, and it's got a space age black hole begonia that has pushed a ton of new growth since we moved it to this location. I'm just removing some sun damaged leaves here. In fact, look what the sun was doing before we moved these plants. Oh my goodness. Anyway, this one's gonna go outside. At that time, we can move this one over so that our entryway is a little bit more clear. But things are doing well in here. Our streptocarpus are blooming. Our succulents and cacti all look really good. In fact, we have been enjoying some blooms like on our barrel cactus. Those 3 blooms are done, but this one is fairly fresh still. This one just got done blooming. Got some blooms right here. Our rat tail cactus is just getting done blooming as well. We've got a streptocarpus under there that's happy. This one looks pretty happy. Overall, really, really great in here. Let's grab our watering can. Give these a little bit of a drink now that they're in their spots. And you know what I was noticing out this window? Look at the tulips. Oh, look at their little flowers just popping up. We can see all of them. They look so beautiful. Look at them. We can't see them the same on the other side because our counter was built up a little higher than the brick ledge so that it was easier to work on. But you can see them right down there. And that concludes the outdoor portion of today's project. So what we need to do now is go gather eggs. I can't remember how many my recipe calls for, but several. It's a really good way to use eggs. And last night I made a bread pudding. I made a couple of loaves of bread. And so I used one of the loaves for the bread pudding and then a bunch of eggs. I think it calls for 5 eggs and it's so good, you guys. I should make that sometime in a video because I'm really picky about bread pudding. It cannot be soggy. It cannot be too spongy. It was just right. Anyway, we're gonna gather the eggs. We'll take them inside and then we'll see what Erin's doing because it might be a good time to sit down and chat about all of the house plans. I'm so excited to share all of these renders with you because it's going to be so amazing. There should be plenty in here. I haven't gathered the eggs for a couple of days and I don't think the kids have either. Oh, hi chicken. Hey girls, how you doing? Come to get your eggs. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay, right in this box, we don't have quite 2 days worth of eggs. Good, holy moly, good girls. Whoop, so that's 2 days worth of eggs, about 3.5 days worth of eggs. So they're not quite done laying today yet. Hey, look at this.
I was just about to check
the eggs, were you? Oh, uh-oh.
Mama?
Oh, it didn't break, dude. Can you pick that up and put it back in there? What, babe?
I wandered through the big puddle.
You wandered through the big puddle with your Easter shoes on?
No, she ran through it.
Oh, Samantha Grace.
She ran through it.
Oh, okay, let me give the chicken some treats. Yes. Holy moly, I'm gonna come out here. Patience, chickens. Come on. Whoopsie.
They're like, honk, honk, honk.
Yeah, give it to me. Right now. You can go inside, babe. Come here, girlies. All right. Those are looking pretty good. I really should make a bunch of noodles and either freeze or dry them. I usually buy the grandma's frozen noodles, egg noodles in the freezer section, for this soup are really, really good, and they're thicker. So you really feel like, I don't know, Aaron's not a huge fan of soup, but if you put a lot of things in that are like thick and kind of meaty, he likes it. All right, well, the sun is trying to come out. I envisioned us being in the Hartley or somewhere just discussing all of these changes, but I think this is better because we'll be able to walk around the house and show you the things that we are going to be working on. And I don't want this to seem negative because it's not. It's an exciting thing, and I love our home. I love it as is. And if we never changed anything, I would be happy with our home. But I'm really excited for some of these things that we're going to be adding on because it's going to give us new opportunities for, well, how we live inside the house, but also for our gardens around it, just to make everything like more livable and more practical for our needs. So early on in this process, when we were starting the design phase of the kitchen add-on, we realized that we didn't have anybody local here that does 3D renders. And Aaron and I are so visual, we got to kind of see things. So we put out a reel on Facebook and Instagram and asked you guys if you either knew of somebody or if you did 3D renders, and tons of you reached out. So thank you to all of you who reached out. We ended up meeting up with a guy named Eric. He's out of Michigan. His business name is Heritage Design Workshop. So heritagedesignworkshop.com, we'll link it down below. We were just floored with his designs and knew like, this is it. This is who we need to work with. And so what started as, hey, we just need a kitchen 3D rendering has turned into
like a full house master plan.
Because we realized that, you know, there are things in the front of the house that we want to change. And if we make decisions back here, we really need to have a full-on master plan as to what we're going to do in future phases of our renovation project. I think that's the smartest way to do it because then you make good decisions.
So you want your whole home to look cohesive.
Otherwise, it looks like this.
Yeah, right.
So we have the 1919 portion of the house right here. This is where it ends. And then the addition went on in 1983. So as far as we can tell, there was no effort made to try to make them cohesive. I mean, if you just take a look at this right here where they're all joining together. Now, this is the part that's going to seem negative because I'm just going to point out all the things we want to change. But we want there to be some kind of cohesion going on here.
A lot of roof lines.
Yeah, it is kind of odd in that way. The other thing is that we really would probably like a little bit more space here. We want to have a little bit probably of a wraparound porch situation, but
not here exactly, but on this side and on the front.
Yeah, sorry, this is going to be the kitchen addition. It's going to come out like 20 to 25 feet this way. So of course it won't start till over there. But you can see right here, this is another thing that remains consistent around most of the house. All the header heights are different. And when you're looking at really traditional homes, and Aaron and I like colonial Georgian kind of architecture, everything is very balanced. Everything is very consistent. It's more egregious on the front of the house, you'll see. Also, you'll see like some of them have shutters, some of them do not. All the header heights match. And
some have aluminum windows, some have vinyl.
Right. So as we do our projects, we're going to be swapping windows to all the same, and we'll go through all of those details here in a minute. So this is where the kitchen addition, right here is where the wall is. That's where it will end. And there will be a door inside that leads back out into a porch that will be a little bit deeper than it currently is. And of course, we'll be able to like fix all of the cracked concrete. And a lot of the concrete goes toward the house instead of away from the house. So when we get water, a lot of times we have pooling issues in different spots.
The concrete will all get busted up and taken out.
Right. And we're also going to be like upgrading this. It's been totally fine, but it looks aged a little bit. Just the style of it. Also, we will be rebuilding this balcony. Same, it'll look the same, but it won't be leaning. I don't know if you can
actually,
show.
yeah, you can see it right
Can
here.
you see it?
Look at, yeah, in the camera, you can totally tell it's leaning.
And right here in the corner, when we get rain, which we just got through having 3 days of rain, there is a huge lake on the balcony. And I have to go out there with the broom and broom the water off. Otherwise, it just sits there. So there are some things that need to be done.
We've got 10-foot ceilings inside, but you can see header heights are different.
Right.
You know, there's no reason not to put an 8-foot door here and just have everything the same height.
Right. And then in the front here, we will also be addressing kind of the narrowness here. It's not horrible, but it would be nice to have a little bit more depth for furniture and things. And you know what? This whole project has like, what's the word? Is it vindicated? The fact that I have not planted anything up here, it makes me feel like, I told Aaron last night, planting here and in front of the Hartley, I'm so glad I never did anything because both of them are going to change based on house changes.
Yeah. This area is the most egregious, I feel like, in terms of window sizes being different. And they're just kind of like all over the place. There's a huge gap right here where there's no windows. And, you know, like this one's small, that one's small. There's 3 windows here. It's just nothing, there's just nothing cohesive at all.
There's a random carriage light on the south side of the I
Yeah.
think there used to be a door here. Also, I don't know if you can see, but a couple of our shutters overlap.
Yeah,
How awesome is that?
yeah.
That's one of the reasons why, well, I love this tree and I will fight for this tree until the death. Aaron has always wanted it to go, but right now it's kind of helping to mask the front of the house. It's kind of art of distraction, right? So
Yeah.
just plant some stuff to where you don't really notice. Up here, I feel like we're gonna get a little bit of pushback.
I don't think so at all, actually.
I guess, do you want to talk about it when we look at the renders?
Yeah, sure. So there's nothing really egregious, I don't feel like, except for the hip roof up top, don't you think?
Oh, well, that and the roof line, Aaron. Can you stand more right in front?
Well, you know, you can see it really well here. So they chopped off the roof here. It doesn't, you know, over in this corner, it's just a normal corner. And then here it's just cut for whatever reason. Mm-hmm. And then we both really dislike this top dormer.
Yeah.
It looks like it should be a peak, but it's not.
It just looks like somebody doing this.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I know hip roofs, like there's some designs where it looks appropriate, but it just, there's nothing else on our house that has that.
But I think if you fix that dormer, overall, this side of the house is not necessarily wrong, but it doesn't really go with the rest of the house.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else?
Nope, I think we should start showing the renders.
Okay.
Do you want to start from this angle?
Do you? Okay, I'm going to pull up the render on my phone so that I can talk through some stuff. Now, before we show you this render of the front, just know that this sun porch is 0% used. It's only by the bugs and soil. And also it used to be it's not even original. It used to be, I think, a fully enclosed like screen porch at one time. And I don't know, I'm guessing the door was always in the same spot, but a previous owners had part of it opened up and part of it glassed in. So we're not dealing with like original construction, not architecture, original construction for this. Let me bring up the render here. So check out this render. What we're gonna do here is we are gonna fix the dormer. So it's got more of a peak, and it's a fake dormer. It's in our attic. We don't really access it. We're also going to, in the second level, you'll see that we have another balcony. And that was one of the things that we were looking at it thinking, how could we make this look like it belongs with the rest of the house? Just add another balcony. And that will look really good. Also, so we've got 2 small rooms up there. One of them is Aaron's office and one of them is kind of a storage room. And the wall that's in between them was taken out at one point and then put back. We're gonna take that wall out again and make it one kind of large office. And there will be a door. So we're gonna reposition windows a bit, have a door in the center that leads us out into an area on a balcony that we can sit on. And having that balcony detail, I think is going to just make all the rest of the house, it looks like it goes together. And I love balconies. I love the detail that they add. Now you'll notice down below, we are taking out the glass portion of the sun porch. And I'm a little bit excited about it, to be quite honest with you, just because I'm always slightly embarrassed as to the state of how it looks. Like when even people drop off packages, I'm like, oh, please don't look in there. It's always gross. There's always like tons of beetles and flies on the floor. And yes, I could go in there and clean it, but the next day I would have beetles and flies on the floor. They're attracted to that. It's just warm enough. So we are going to inside, all we have to do to center this door, because you can see in the render, we've centered the door. There's windows on either side. So on the left here inside, we have our front parlor where I've got my piano. And then on the right-hand side is our entryway, which is pretty small. And there's a double door in between both of them. So we just have to take out, what, like 4 feet of wall, Aaron?
Mm-hmm.
That's it? 4 feet of wall in order to center this door, put new windows in, and then we can move the whole menagerie, the whole staircase, which I want to keep these, so we'll still have this detail. We'll move that over so it's centered with the dormer up above. And it will be an open porch that I think we will use a lot because we like to sit out here in particular and watch storms roll in. Anything else I forgot?
No, except for that one of the things that I think Eric did a beautiful job of is creating a single line for the
Right.
wraparound porch.
Mm-hmm.
Because, okay, so if we go back to the way it looks like today, see how they're just kind of all over the place. You've got different grade, like the grade of the roof is different in every single location.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
And so Eric is combining, this part right here and making it, one all the way around. I think that's really smart.
So this will come out 10 feet down here. Will this also come out further then for the balcony?
No, the porch will come out slightly farther. You can see that in the render.
Okay, so this is gonna broaden out a little bit.
Yep.
Gotcha. So that's why I'm happy that we haven't planted anything. Now this portion of the project is not even in the kitchen phase. It'll probably be a few years after that we actually tackle this. I'm guessing.
But you got to have a game plan.
You do, and I think having an overall idea of what you're going to end up with is really, really nice.
Okay, so let's show from this perspective over here.
Okay. You know what? The thing we didn't mention, so the gardens around the house in these renders are just obviously placeholders. It's not what is actually here. And we'll rarely see the house all in one fell swoop like we're seeing in these renders, but you can really see in this one from this angle the staircase that leads you down off of the new porch down into the lower porch. So there'll be stairs on this side instead of that awkward kind of corner in there.
Yeah.
And you can see really from this perspective too how much that balcony will marry with the other one on this side. You'll be able to see both, and the dormer looking like an actual dormer.
And changing out all the windows to grid windows, having them all be double hung style, I think that's really going to make the whole house look cohesive.
Right. And I think another thing we might do is not do the black fascia board, do all white. So the only thing that's black on the house will be shutters and the roof.
Yeah.
Yep. And the staircase thing. I've always loved this view with that sun porch with the glass. But just knowing how we use it, I think it's going to be so much better.
Yep.
Okay, let's head this way and look at the render from this side. So we already showed you guys this angle in the last garden tour that we did, because we talked through some of the changes that are going to happen here. But I love this view. I think it is so beautiful. I'm looking at it on my phone right now. I love that you can see the new balcony that's going to go over the kitchen renovation, which is about where that lilac is. And you can see the balcony on the portico. Again, in real life, will you see them at the same time? You'll get glimpses of them, but they're broken up by, big trees and shrubs and that sort of thing. But the thing I love, right next to the doors that come out along the sidewalk or the porch area, there's kind of a blank wall space, and I want to put a wall fountain right there. I think it'd be absolutely perfect to have that sound of water right there. And so that kind of makes me want to pause a little bit, at least because I know this one's happening next year. On this section, not planting. We can work on the other spot over by the willow that's kind of behind Aaron. But this is going to change because, well, I mean, the wall is going to be about here. So are we going to want to shift this over? We might want to. I don't know.
Right.
And I don't want to have to dig up stuff and move it unnecessarily. I already have enough stuff I've got to move.
Certainly this lilac is going to have to go. The viburnum is going to have to go.
And then the locust tree we planted last year, we should probably move that now before it gets any bigger.
Yeah.
But those are the only three things other than little perennials, and perennials are easy. And the lilac is diseased. That needed to come out anyway. This will make me sad.
It's also being held together. Have you showed this?
Yeah. But I don't know the last time I did.
It's being hit. You see all the string in there?
Yeah.
That's holding all the branches up.
Like all of this, like all the moisture we got, this whole thing would be flat to the ground and probably break branches. There's so much borer damage in there. This makes me sad though.
Sure.
It's a little scrubby, but when it's blooming, it's glorious. So maybe we'll have to remove it when it's like, well, we can remove it next winter when there's nothing on it.
Yeah.
It'll be seamless. I don't know. Horrible. So back where we started, you can see where the kitchen addition comes off. And I just wanted to explain a couple of things. So the kitchen addition, this wall right here will extend out. We'll have this little alcove sort of situation, but it'll come out far enough to where our double doors leading out from the addition will match with our walkway. So I don't know how much further, like it'll need to come out like this far-ish in order for this to line up, which will create this little kind of space that you see in the render, but it gives us a spot for our grill, which will be still close to the kitchen. Also, the room right behind here. So right now the floor, well, it's the same height as the porch floor. The rest of it's called crawl space. So what we're doing, we have our old laundry room and like a storage room right here. We're knocking that whole floor down, and this is going to become our new pantry inside this wall here. And I think we're gonna have a door put in, possibly. there'll be windows for sure on either side, or all windows. So either a door and 2 windows or all windows, depending on what we want to do. But you know, we park right behind where Aaron's standing. And if we had a door leading right to our pantry for all of our groceries, that would be super, super handy. But either way, we're gonna have a lot of light going in that area. And so these will go somewhere else. In fact, these I think I'm gonna move to the outer part, at least one of them, to the outer part of the addition, kind of where the TV is gonna sit on the wall. That will be the only spot that doesn't have windows. So we'll see if we can fit 1 or 2 of those in that space. And then the only other thing is the west side, and that's not going to change a whole lot. The only thing, Aaron, and correct me if I'm wrong, we're not going to have a roof line right here, right?
Yeah, the overhang is going to go away for the most part, the lower overhang. Except there'll be a little one over these windows where it kind of bumps out. But yeah, not a lot is changing on this side.
Yeah, this will remain pretty much untouched.
These windows up above, you know, we've got these vinyl, like a bunch of really small vinyl windows.
It's where we used to have our plant room.
Yeah.
Sorry, I interrupted you.
Well, those are all going to turn into just regular double hung windows that'll just match the rest of the house.
Yeah, so a lot of fun stuff to look forward to, honestly. And like I said, things might change a little bit. We might, plans evolve. And I am thankful actually that we're taking as much time, because our contractor said, well, if you're living here, I want to make, like during the renovation, I want to make sure we've got everything here. You make all the decisions, we have everything picked out, everything's ordered and here before I rip into your house, because that will reduce the amount of time that we are in your hair. We'll get it done so much faster if we've got everything here. So it gives us that time, one, to make all those decisions, spreads the cost out, and it also helps us to think about things a little bit longer before we actually jump in to something. So anyway, I am just looking so forward to it. And I think that's it. Is there any other details we wanted to share?
No, for now, we can share more if we get, you know, more photos or make some changes, but I'm really, really happy with Eric.
Yes.
He's been so, like, he's so nice, and he's been putting a ton of time into this. So thank you, Eric.
Thank you, Eric. It's just amazing. I'm so excited for it.
When you get the right person, it makes things fun.
Like I want him to know that there was kind of like this weight on my shoulders a little bit, like a little bit of a dark cloud. Like, this should be exciting, but it wasn't really feeling that way, because I felt like I couldn't impart a vision or to anybody who really got what the vision was from Aaron and I, but Eric just like dials it in, and it makes me actually excited. Like, I want to do it today.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But anyway, that is it, you guys, for this portion. So now we're going to go in and make some egg noodles for our dinner. Okay, I've got everything out that we need, and I just washed my eggs. So we're going to be using 4 eggs for these noodles. We're going to be using 3 of them, just the yolks, and then 1 full egg in addition to that. We're also going to be using 2 cups of flour, plus you'll need more for dusting your surface as you're rolling out your noodles, 2 teaspoons of kosher salt, and then 1/4 to 1/2 cup of water. So this is a 1/2 cup. I filled it up almost all the way, but we're going to only be adding in like a tablespoon at a time until the dough comes together. So let's put our flour and our salt in our bowl and mix that together, and then we'll add in our eggs, then our water. Pretty easy. Okay, so when we are adding our flour in, I'm going to just spoon it into our measuring cup so it's not compacted. Level it off. 1 cup in. There's 2 cups. Now we're going in with 2 teaspoons of salt, and this is actually a 2 teaspoon measuring spoon. I like having the odd sizes. There we go. We're going to give that a little stir so it's well blended, and I'm also going to create kind of a well in the center, and that's where we're going to put our eggs. Okay, so let's do our egg yolks first. Oh my gosh, that's a huge egg yolk. Okay. Kind of demolished that shell. Okay, there's 1 egg yolk. There, that's better. Oh! Can we salvage it? Oh, no. Gosh dang it. Gotta, yeah. Let's do, hopefully we have better luck with this one. 2, 3. Let me go wash 1 more egg. Okay, you can see the 3 yolks in there. And there's our full egg. We're going to also add just a couple tablespoons of water in to start off. Okay, we're just going to stir that up. I'm going to add a little more water. We basically just want to add water just a little bit at a time until the dough comes together in a ball. Okay, I'm gonna use my hands for the rest of this. I can sense a little bit better the moisture level when I'm using my hands, and I can feel it with my fingers. It's a little sticky, so I'm just gonna put a little flour down. We just basically want to get it into kind of a smooth-ish ball. Jeez. This is like chaos cooking right here. Okay, now we're going to divide our dough in half, and we're going to let it rest for 10 minutes, just sitting right out here on the counter. Okay, while our dough for our noodles is resting, we are going to prep the soup portion, the broth portion of the soup. So I've got, I don't know, 3 or 4 stalks of celery here that we're going to use, and you can use more or less depending on what you like. I've got 3 sort of medium-sized carrots. So we're going to take the ends off those, and if I could find, there it is, my peeler. And I'm just going to put all of my stuff right here on the counter. And with the chicken that I roasted yesterday, I saved the bones and all the skin and all of that. It's in a freezer bag. So I'm just going to pop all of our peelings and all of that stuff into the same bag so that I can make some chicken broth later on. Cut the tips off of these too, I think. And we're also going to use quite a lot of onion. And all of these peelings and the skin, onion skin, all of that will go in the bag for the broth as well. Okay, these 3 right here are going to be the base for like the really good flavor of our broth. So let's cut up our celery first. I don't know, 1/4 inch slices or so. I like the little leafy bits. Okay, carrots just about the same thing. And our onion. I like the onion to be cut pretty fine. I think I'm going to do more carrots. I don't think that's quite enough. These carrots look like little gremlins. Found them at the bottom of the drawer, but we're going to peel them and use them. See, once that skin's off, they look great. Okay, going in with a little bit of avocado oil. Turn on the heat. I'm going to add the onion in first. I'll let that cook down for just a little bit. Salt, black pepper, a bit of garlic powder. You can use fresh garlic too. I have some in the root cellar. I just forgot to bring it in. I like the onions to be translucent and thoroughly softened before I add in my other stuff. I don't really want to have any crunch or texture from the onion in my soup. That's just personal preference. Okay, that's looking pretty good. So now we're going to add our carrot and celery. Wish you could smell it. One of the best smells ever. That's a Thanksgiving smell to me. All right, that is looking good. So now we're going to add some chicken broth in. I'm using store-bought chicken broth, which I use a lot too. And I usually use 2 of the 32 ounces, and this is a 48 ouncer because that's all they had. So I'll probably just use like 1.5 of these. Maybe 2. See how it looks. Yeah, may as well. Okay, we're gonna let this sit and simmer, but I am going to add my chicken. So this is our leftover chicken off of the roasted chicken from yesterday. And it's been in the refrigerator, so it's really cold. I want to bring it up to a nice hot temperature. So we'll let all of that cook with everything else while we get the noodles rolled out and cut. Okay, this is our chicken carcass from yesterday. I'm gonna add all this stuff into the bag quick. It's off our work surface. Now we are going to sprinkle some flour on our surface. Well, that was a lot. And we're gonna work with one portion of the dough at a time. Boy, I used way too much flour. We're going to attempt to get these to about 1/8 of an inch thick, but you can go as thin or as thick as you want. You'll just have to adjust the cooking time. We're getting really close. Look at that. Beautiful. So I'm just going to kind of fluff these up and we're going to put them in a pile to the side on a towel. That way we can transport them over to our pot really easily. I'm going to brush some of this flour off because the flour will thicken the broth. Not that that's a bad thing. I just don't want it to be too thick. There we go. Aren't these pretty? Kind of rustic in a way. I mean, you could definitely do this a lot more, I don't know, professional looking, but I don't think it's going to matter once they're all cooked up in the pot. And you could make a big bunch of these if you have an abundance of eggs on hand that you just want to utilize. You can make up a bunch of noodles, lay them out to dry, and then store them dried, or you can pop them in the freezer. How are things looking over here? Looking good. There's a lot of chicken in this soup. So once the broth has started to boil, we can pop our noodles in, and it usually takes just a few minutes. So less time, 1 to 2 minutes if they're really thin, 3, 4, 5 minutes if they're thicker. You just kind of have to gauge it. Also, if you do leave them out to dry on the counter, the texture does change a little bit from fresh noodles to noodles that have dried out for a little bit, and some people prefer the texture if you leave them laid out. But I think this is just a super fast way to get noodles ready for something like this. And the onion is from our garden from last year. The carrots and the celery were from the store. Our carrots are not quite ready yet in the cold frame. So anyway, it smells amazing. All right, here we go. Whoops. All right, we're gonna check on those noodles in about 3 minutes. We're adding more salt, a little bit more pepper. You just wanna taste it now and then to make sure the spices are right. All right, you guys, I think it's done. So this is the spoon I use for Aaron to strain out broth. And this is the spoon I use for everyone else. Oh my gosh, look at all that chicken. I don't want that much chicken.
Well, that looks good. Is dinner about ready?
Just about. We're gonna try a bite before I dish everybody else up. First of all, look at how yummy that looks. And these noodles, oh, I love it when they are thick. I don't know why, it just makes it feel meatier and just so delicious. Okay, the only thing I could have done differently is cut them into smaller pieces so they're a little easier to eat next time. I always forget that. Okay, so I want a noodle, my carrot, a little bit of chicken. Yum. Yep, they're perfectly done. Oh, so good. Honestly, I mean, I like the flavor that the chicken gives, but if you're using chicken broth, I could take or leave the actual meat in a soup like this, and you could add in all kinds of fun stuff in there. You could add some butternut squash. You could amp up the amount of carrots and such that you use in here too. So good. I'm gonna eat all mine before anybody comes in here. My mom has memories of her grandma, my great grandma, who I knew when I was younger, making just tons and tons of egg noodles and having them all laid out in order to dry. And she just remembers being a part of that when she was little and how fun it was. And we used to have, or we do have, not used to, we've always had this soup for Thanksgiving and Christmas. Like on the side of ham and turkey and all the other traditional stuff, there's always a pot of this soup. And it's because when she was younger, they didn't have a ton of money. And so they had to make, a big meal, like a big festive meal stretch, they could do a smaller ham or a smaller turkey, and they could make a soup like this with noodles that were really cheap and easy to make. And it just kind of stretched the meal further when there were a lot of mouths to feed. Anyway, such an easy thing to do. And I thought we would pop outside so you could see how the day ended. Look at that. We've got blue sky. Still a little bit of, gray clouds, but it's beautiful out here. Anyway, guys, we're done with our projects for today. Alstroemeria planted for the most part. We've got the 2 we will take care of a little bit later. And I hope you guys enjoyed the visit about the house, just seeing the renders. And when I saw this most recent set of renders, it made me so excited. And I am just going to be embracing this last season, I guess, with this flower bed, not planting, of course, any perennials or any shrubs in here. In fact, we'll probably be working on moving some things out as we move along, but knowing that I will get one more spring with the hellebores over there if we don't happen to get them all moved. The urgency, the sense of urgency isn't quite as much there, which makes me feel so much more relaxed going into our busy garden season. And I hope you enjoyed the egg noodles. It's always fun to find a way to use a lot of eggs. So if you guys have more ideas on how to use an abundance of eggs, and we give a lot of eggs away as well, but there's 7 eggs every single day, and that's a lot. And I don't cook breakfast or scrambled eggs every single day, so I'd love some more ideas. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you in the next one.